Hey, what's up, everybody? Anton here from Dropship Lifestyle, and it's crazy to think that a year has went by since the last time I made a video like this. And at the same time, like, if I really do look back, I could see how much changed over the past 12 months. I mean, in my personal life, I literally watched my son go from a little baby this big that cried almost all day to this kid that's now taking steps and saying words. And just looking at that growth is like, wow, okay, a year actually is a long time, and a lot can change. And same thing in business, especially in Dropship Lifestyle. Looking back on 2018, there's just been so much that we actually were able to accomplish. And to be quite honest, it's because of you. And I want to just say thank you for being a part of this community, for watching these videos, for being a part of our course. We actually grew to over 10,000 members this year, and we have over 1,000 people that are active in the Dropship Lifestyle coaching program. So it's just like I would have never thought going back in 2013 when I first launched this thing that this would be where we are now in 2018 going into 2019. And to be honest, this was never my goal. My original goal was, let me share my information, let me try to help a few people to kind of see that they can have a different type of life. They don't need to go the corporate route. They actually can create their own destiny by making their own income, by basically having freedom in their lives, which is the whole mission of Dropship Lifestyle, right? To empower freedom through entrepreneurship. And again, this year, that goal has just been more solidified than ever. We're seeing more success stories than ever, hearing from more people, from more countries, from different demographics. It just shows that if you really want this, you can have whatever lifestyle you set out to achieve if you're willing to do the work. So again, thank you from myself, from our team. This is all thanks to you that we're able to actually have the satisfaction of seeing lives changed. So speaking of that and what's kind of changed for us, this year has been a big year of growth for our team. And I don't mean in terms of size. In fact, we actually kind of took away. So instead of adding more and more people, we started to realize, okay, listen, what are we actually trying to accomplish? What is it that actually matters? And who is the best to do which thing? So first of all, I just want to say thank you to our amazing team, because everybody really has stepped up and really stepped into the roles where they can excel. And we've seen not just output in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality just drastically go up. So hopefully you noticed that. Same thing with Dropship Lifestyle, some updates to the quality there. This year, we launched version 7.0, better than ever, more up to date than ever, more streamlined than ever. And again, that's why it's producing more success stories than ever before. So for everybody that's a part of version 7, thank you for being a part of that. Thank you to Shopify for noticing that Dropship Lifestyle is the best e-commerce course and for voting us best e-commerce course. Appreciate that. This year, we also formed an official partnership with Shopify. We not only were voted best e-commerce course, but we're one of very, very small number of approved education partners. So thank you to them for, again, realizing that we actually care about our students and we're here for the long term. We're not just some fly-by-night company. This year, some other big things that happened. I finally launched a podcast. People have been telling me to do it for years. We did it. It's called E-Commerce Lifestyle. You could find it on ecommercelifestyle.com. We have also seen a lot of growth with YouTube this year where you're watching this video. So good to see that YouTube's algorithm is appreciating what we're doing here and showing it to more people that are getting value. So thank you for being a part of this community. Some other things we did this year, I launched a new brand. I showed people how to do that. We also launched an entire new course called Google Ads for E-commerce, helping people realize that Facebook isn't the only platform out there. In addition to that, we had our 5th annual retreat for Dropship Lifestyle. This year it was in Bali, just an amazing few days with people from all around the world, again, connecting, networking, sharing tips, learning, and growing together. Thank you again to all of our speakers that actually came and were part of that. And finally, we just started our e-commerce lifestyle inner circle for everybody that is doing $30,000 a month in sales or more, kind of seeing growth or sales plateau and looking to build something more defensible, something that they can really have, just a moat around. So we've been helping with that, and kind of that's how we're closing out, or I should say how we closed out about last year and how we're moving into this year now in 2019. So again, looking back from the team, from our community, just from everybody, brand partners that we work with, it's been an amazing year all around. Sometimes things happen so fast, it feels like, well, did we really accomplish anything? But again, it's worth taking a look back and seeing how much actually can change in a year and how much has changed. So I'd encourage you to do the same in your own life and in your own business. And kind of this week, I wanted to do something special, a little out of the ordinary for Dropship Weekly. So what I'm going to do now is actually share with you our coaching call from December. I host these coaching calls every month for members of our coaching program. It's kind of like a Q&A format, as you'll see. One for about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. So hopefully you get some big takeaways from this coaching call for your own business. And if you're not part of Dropship Lifestyle yet, hopefully you join us for 2019 and make it your best year yet. So thank you. Appreciate you watching this, and I will see you in the next episode. All right. Hello, everybody. Anton Crowley here, and welcome to our December coaching call. Hopefully this is coming through. If you can hear me right now, can you just let me know in the chat box if you could hear the audio right now? Using a different microphone, so want to make sure we got it working. Okay, Claire says yes. Perfect. Jimmy says yes. Aaron says sounds great. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and make the question box a little bit bigger because it's usually a little small in there, but awesome. So guys, for everybody that's new here, welcome to our, again, December 2018 coaching call. The way I do these things is typically using this digital whiteboard, my Microsoft Surface computer, because it just makes it easier for me to kind of write out ideas and work through different things that you might be experiencing. These calls typically go for about 60 minutes. And the way it works is you ask questions by typing them out, not by getting on the line or anything, but just typing them out, asking them in the chat box. We also had some people that submitted questions in advance, so I will be diving into them as well. And yeah, with that being said, whenever you are ready, just start typing your questions. And as you do that, I'll let you know that the way this works is I can see all of your questions. You cannot see one another's, but typically I just obviously start at the top, work my way down the list, and we get everybody's issues resolved. So the real goal here is to make sure if you're stuck anywhere, then we can work past that. So again, let me know. Just go ahead, type your questions in, and I will start asking them as I see them. While I do that, let me just get my pens set up over here. Okay, so the first question that came in is from Frank, and Frank said, now that Black Friday and Cyber Monday are over, when are sales going to pick up again? Okay, great question. Yeah. So Frank and everybody else here, typically this is what the holiday sales, I guess, series looks like, you can call it. We have all of our busy months, and let's just say we have October, we have November, we have December, and we have January. Okay, so let's choose these 4 months here to work with. In October, typically you'll see normal sales. Because in November, we have Black Friday and Cyber Monday. This is often for almost all the stores that we operate and most of our students, highest sales month of the year, so highest revenue. And again, that's assuming you've been doing this for a while and you're following everything. With December, sales don't totally dry up. What happens in December is the first 2 weeks are typically really good. And then usually like the week of Christmas, then leading into New Year's, it does die down. But that does not mean in any means that December is a bad month or anything like that. This should be pretty much a normal month for you, most likely with the majority of your sales coming in the first 2 weeks. And then also something we could talk about later if anybody wants to know about it is what we do leading into the new year. So typically we have promotions that start towards the end of December. So like December 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, leading into January 1st for New Year's. And then that starts us off with a really, really, really strong January. So keep that in mind as well. But yeah, no, it's not like December now, everybody's sitting around, with their hands on their thumbs thinking, when are sales going to pick up again? They should be back to normal. The only real down week is the week leading up to Christmas. And that's because items just don't ship fast enough to get to our customers as gifts. Okay, so I'm just going to write here, post Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And I also did 2 different podcasts at ecommercelifestyle.com about this. So go there to learn more. Okay, let me see who asked the next question. Aaron said, I am stuck mentally. Suggestions to overcome the block. Aaron, it depends what you're stuck with. If you're stuck, like not able to focus and kind of get things done that need to be done, check out the new welcome module in Dropship Lifestyle. I added a new video all about knowing your why and figuring things out. But really, what it comes down to is understanding why you're doing this and having a clear focus each day. That's one reason we have the 21-day launch plan. Because if you don't know what you're doing every day, it's very easy to get distracted. For example, let's just say you're in Dropship Lifestyle, you've been in here for a while, and you're looking at modules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and you're looking at whatever it is, like the 10 or 12 videos in each module, and you're just sitting there staring at a screen like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Well, then it's really easy to get overwhelmed. So instead of doing this, just break it up into bite-sized little things like, okay, today I am going to go through module 1 and I'm going to complete lessons 1.0 to 1.3 and only look at that. The rest of this stuff, just block out until you get there. So if that's what you're referring to, kind of like being overwhelmed, break it up into very small chunks. And as long as you make progress every day, there's no doubt that you will get to where you want to be. Okay, the next question is from Maria. Maria, how are you? It says, is there a shipping calculator I can use to calculate shipments from different suppliers to different locations so I can determine my prices profitably? Yes. So let me just write this out so everybody understands. So let's just say Maria has supplier A and Maria has supplier B. And let's say supplier A is in New York and supplier B is in, I don't know, let's say they're in Florida, right? Now, because the way we build our stores and the way our competitors build their stores, we're offering free shipping basically on everything we sell. That means that we have to make sure that the margins are built into the products. So let's just say Maria gets an order from the supplier in New York and the customs can right here, supplier. And let's say it's going to a customer and the customer is also in New York. And let's just say that the product that Maria is selling are stand-up paddleboards, right? Well, a stand-up paddleboard shipping in the same state, let's just say that the cost of shipping there is $50. But let's say Maria also has that supplier in Florida and a customer buys from that supplier and they're also located in New York. Well, maybe to ship that same item, it costs $150, right? So how can we build this into our product prices and make sure that we're profitable when we get sales? Well, I'm just gonna write here cost of shipping. So what we do is, first of all, make sure that the average, right, our average cost is going to leave us to be profitable. Again, going for usually a minimum of 25% net. That means if I had a supplier in Florida, and let's just say I knew that it cost, $150 on average to get products to New York. The way I would know this price is by asking them for shipping quotes. So you could just say to them when you're getting approved, hey, supplier B in Florida, most of my customers are in New York, or I do 30% of my business in New York. What does it cost to get your most popular product there? Okay, and they'll give you a quote. And you say, okay, that's great. I also have suppliers in California. What does it cost to get my products there? And you say, okay, I'll give you quotes. Okay, that's great. And then what we do and what you do, so as far as a calculator, it's really just doing it manually by asking these suppliers what it costs to ship to where your customers are, and then taking that average. So you really do have to average that. And like, this is a very simplified example, obviously, but if we had 2 suppliers and all of our customers are in New York and it was about a 50% distribution, then I would just say, okay, on average, my shipping costs for the products on my website for my stand-up paddleboards is $100. And I would go ahead and I would factor that into my pricing. I wouldn't mark my prices up more, but I would make sure that MAP allowed for me to be profitable while offering free shipping. Now, if you have some suppliers, because you might notice this, the suppliers that don't have really good MAP policies, they still have them, but maybe their margins aren't that great. Well, then maybe you can't afford that, right? Maybe that, your margin on one of these paddle boards is like best case scenario, let's just say you make net profit $150, right? So you don't want to have to spend on average 150 to ship it, or even worse, you don't want to have to spend 150 to ship it and then not make any money after you just got a sale. So if that's the case, again, this should be rare, but if that's the case, you could do one of two things. And again, let me just write this out. This would be kind of what I would call worst case scenario. So you have, all right, average profit margin from supplier B. Let's write average net profit, it's easier. Average net profit per order from supplier B equals 150. And then you have your shipping cost average is 100, but it can go up to 150. Now, obviously, we don't want to waste our time, right, selling these products when shipping is 150, because then what's the point, right? We're going to ship it. We're not going to make any money. We're going to have to deal with the customer service aspect and just credit card fees and all that. So what you do in this case is if supplier B with those lower potential margins, again, you know them by asking the supplier. If that's the case, then when you are setting up your ads, your Google product listing ads, what you'll do is have your supplier B products within Google Ads. You'll use geo-targeting. And what that means is you'll do everything else with this supplier products the same, except if they were in Florida, you will target Florida. You'll target, I don't know, you target Alabama. You'll target Louisiana. You'll target all of those states down there around Florida. That way, that expensive shipping price, I'll come back up here. That expensive shipping price, that potential 150 that would allow you to make no money, you don't have to worry about. So step one is getting those averages. You get those averages by asking your supplier. And then step two is, if necessary, again, this should be very rare, but if there's just not much money to be made because your supplier's pricing doesn't allow for it, math doesn't allow for it, then you can segment out that supplier's products in your Google Ads and do geo-targeting and only sell them, not only sell them because let's just say a customer went to your website from New York and wanted to buy it, they could, but you're not going to be spending money trying to get them to do so. So because most of our sales do come from direct response, Google Ads to product page, this is going to save you a lot of money and make sure that you're making money when you get a sale. So if you need any clarification on that, just let me know and happy to do so. Okay, the next question that came in is from Jimmy, and it says, it's often difficult to identify if a website is dropshipping or not. Sometimes it's obvious, stores, photo of a warehouse, but lots of times it's not. Also not via Google Maps. Do you have any extra tips to identify real dropshipping websites? What do you do with the websites that have a small warehouse but dropship most of their products? Yeah, Jimmy, so I definitely get what you're saying. Like you mentioned, I do think it's in the minority of websites that you can't figure out if they're drop shipping or not, or get a good idea, maybe with 80% certainty just by looking at their website. One thing you could do if you want to just confirm is, we do this, just pick up the phone and call them. So call the company that you're, on their website and just say, hey, I'm interested in, I'm looking at paddleboard 123 on your website. I noticed some other companies don't keep these things in stock themselves. Do you have them in stock, or where do you ship from, right? Just to ask them that. And if you don't want to call them, then send them an email or go on their live chat or send them a Facebook message and just ask. That's something that, can, I guess, get you to figure out the small percentage that aren't explicitly clear on their website. So literally just reach out and ask. Don't say, hey, I'm building a competing store and I want to know if you're drop shipping or not, but just say, hey, I want to know if you keep this product in stock yourself, or if not, where it would be shipping from. And then you could just say, I'm looking at it on some other websites. It seems like most of them ship from the same location. Do you do that too? I don't really have a script for it, but you get the idea. Okay, next question is from Anna, and Anna says, what do you think about these big companies that charge a fee to supply suppliers like Doba? Yeah, Anna, don't use them. this is kind of, I don't know, the one of the fundamentals of what we do here. So when you have paid supplier directories, the way they work, let's write it here, paid supplier directories, they typically either charge, monthly or yearly. And then what they do is they tell you, okay, you pay us and we're going to give you, access to X amount of products, right? I think Doba says like, we're going to give you over 1 million products to dropship. Now, the problem with that is that when you get approved with them and when you're working with them, you're not working with the companies that make these products, right? Let's just say these 1 million products come from all these different brands. And let's say there's, I don't know, let's say there's 50,000 different brands. Now, these 50,000 brands, when you pay a company like Doba or Salehu or Worldwide Brands or any of these companies, you have no relationship with any of these companies. And in fact, the supplier directories often do not have those relationships either. So let me just write this for people that are reading this out. These are the 50,000. Again, I'm just, throwing numbers out there. I know they say they have over 1 million products. Let's say it's over 50,000 brands. Normally, the way that these companies, these directories get access to these brands is they work with distributors and overstock sellers. So in between the brands, right, you have distributors, you have overstock, not overstock.com, but other overstock sellers. And then you have other resellers that have relationships with those brands, right? Then from there, they have the relationship with the company like Doba or like the supplier directory you'd be working with. And then from there, here's you trying to make money online, trying to find products to sell. So when you get this many degrees of separation away from the companies you actually need a relationship with, right? The brands, you're not going to have a direct point of contact there. They're going to have no idea who you are. They might not even know who Doba is. You're not going to have any type of pricing controls like MAP or MSRP. You're going to have nothing like that. You're going to be competing with everybody else that pays Doba or whatever other company it is, all those other people, and you're all going to basically be trying to sell products that probably aren't current or that are already marked up twice because, again, you're at least 2 degrees of separation away from the source. So yeah, this is just a visual representation of why you should never pay any of those companies. The way that this model works and the way that I really do believe the only way to dropship profitably is with the dropship lifestyle model is because we, right here, this is Anna over here, is going directly to those brands. And then that means you have a real relationship. You have the most current products. You have, pricing controls. You have a point of contact. You are an authorized retailer. There's just so many benefits. So all that stuff in the middle, don't do it. Go straight to the source. Yeah, that is one of the foundations of the dropship lifestyle model. Okay. Next question. Maria says, I've been approved with 2 suppliers. Awesome. Good for you. It says, it's a good feeling, right? It says, neither of them are requiring a contract. They sent, why is my chat box so small? Give me 1 second. Let me make this thing bigger. Neither of them are requiring a contract. They send specs, prices, photos, etc. Yeah, Maria, I would ask them, you might know this already, but I would see if they have those MAP policies, the minimum advertised price policies. If they don't, it's not a deal breaker. It means you could still work with them. But if they do not have MAP policies, again, minimum advertised price, then you are going to want to remove your pricing guarantee on the website because that it won't work unless there's MAP. But that is awesome. And now that you have that info, I would definitely just get straight into uploading and then get traffic on Google set up as soon as possible. But congratulations. It's definitely a big milestone. Okay, cool. The next question is from Christian. He says, hi, Anton. Thanks for setting this up. You are welcome. Says, I've got a couple hundred products. I set up the ads by brand. Do you normally set up the ads for all brands to find the winning products? Yeah, Christian. So the way that we typically segment this, here, let's write this here. Let's just say we had a new store. So this is our brand new Shopify store. And let's say, I don't know, we got approved for 5 suppliers. And out of those 5 suppliers, you said you have what, a couple hundred? We had 200 products. What we do, literally the first campaign that we run when we're pushing this all to Google, we keep it extremely simple. So when we're going over to Google and we are setting up our PLAs, we start with one campaign. Now, the reason we start with one campaign, and this is before we even do the alphabet beta setup that's taught in Dropship Lifestyle, we just want to have everything up there as soon as possible. And then we want to start looking at our dashboards to see what we are getting impressions for, to see what's turning into sales, to see what we're not, even showing up for, to see what people are clicking over to our website for and then not buying. So if you're just starting, Christian, I'm not sure how far along you are, but if you're just brand new to this, I would just do one campaign. Don't even segment them out yet by brands. Just do this and then see what stands out. From there, yes, we eventually do break it down a lot further. So this one campaign is for data. Let's make that clear. The goal is data. We want to see how Google is displaying us. Again, what people are going to, what they're buying, what they're not buying, what they're not clicking on. We teach you how to break down all those reports, again, in Dropship Lifestyle on the blueprint. But that's the goal with this. And then once we have that, depending on this data, so we make decisions based on that, then this could be broken up into possibly what you're saying now, where you have brand A, where you have brand B, where you have brand C. But that's like the reason that's not what we just do by default, because this could also be category A, category B, category C. So if you're selling, like, let's just say you're selling, I don't know, stand-up paddle boards, and you had, category A was like inflatable. Maybe you would break that into a different one. And then maybe you had, I don't know, like travel. And then you had traditional. I don't know what the names are, but we might break it up that way too. But again, what we do, depending on if we're doing like categories or brands or bestsellers, the way that we figure these out is based on that data. So yeah, go ahead if you're not already and just get everything running to one campaign, see what's working, see what's not, and then decide how you want to break up your campaigns moving forward. Okay. Susan asked the next question, and she says, in module 3, where do I get the info for product descriptions to set up my site? Do I make it up until I get suppliers? Yes, Susan, you basically make it up. So let me just come here. I'll show you this. I'll pull up Google on the screen, and then I will go to google.com. Why is my keyboard not working? What battery did? Well, there you go. Google.com. Okay. I'll go to google.com. Oh, National Day of Mourning. RIP President Bush. But come here and let's just say we were selling the stand-up paddleboards. I would do this. I would go to Google and I'm looking for demo products and I'm searching for stand-up paddleboards. And then I need images. So I'm going to images, clicking that second tab. Then I am going into tools. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Then I'm clicking usage rights. Then I'm clicking labeled for reuse. And then I'm just finding all of these photos of paddleboards, right, that I can use my website and not get sued if I do. And then let's just say I'll try to find one that I would use for a demo product. Scroll down. Okay, maybe this one, right? Free image, orange paddleboard. I would take this, I'd put it on my website. I'd make a product page called orange paddleboard. And then I would say something like, 7-foot orange paddleboard. This is available from, I think it says Aquamarine on it. Aquamarine, whatever, like includes paddle. So nothing, you're not like, yeah. So the short answer is you're making it up, but you're not like trying to write some huge story about it, right? Just like find images you want to use that again are royalty free, and then just add like a few lines describing what it is, and that's it. So you're not trying to trick anyone. You're not trying to sell these products or anything. You're simply doing this so that that when suppliers go to your website, they can envision their products there. Okay, next question is, yeah, there you go. So Christian said, how do you approach setting up the A/B ads for generic products, i.e. no brand? Yeah, Christian, so I'm sure you asked that before I responded, but then it would be something like this where you were breaking it down by category, maybe even by price point. You could segment it that way. So again, like what you want to do is get the data from one campaign, and then I'll just put that here so everybody else is aware as well. You might be doing, I'll just write price hard to read. Price range high, mid, and low. So you can there's so many different ways to segment this, but the way you're going to choose which way you want to, again, is by getting that data, by having Google display your products and send people to your site. Okay, next question is it normal that after the market research, you'll end up with more specific special niches that are ruled out by the checklist? Is it normal that after the market research, you'll end up with a quite popular niche? The more specific, yeah, Jimmy, definitely. So yes, I think I understand what you're saying. An example would be like if you wouldn't sell these, but let's say you were like, okay, I want to sell, brown leather watches. And then you started doing your research on brown leather watches and you saw there was only 3 different brands that make brown leather watches. Then maybe you would say, okay, I want to sell leather watches. And then maybe you saw there was 6 brands that sell leather watches. Then maybe you're like, okay, well, that's still not enough brands. And then you said, I want to sell all watches. And you found 25 brands that sell all watches. Then you would sell all watches. So yes, that definitely is common. And that's part of the research process. Awesome. And Aaron, you are welcome. I guess that answered your question earlier. Okay, Anna said, so if we have not started our store yet, should we wait after Christmas to launch our store and start investing in Google Ads? Anna, that's a great question. Here is what I would recommend. Let me scroll to the top for now. If you are right now, if you have supplier approvals, if you've already got those suppliers, then I would say go ahead and start running Google Ads now. You don't have to wait. If you don't have any suppliers yet, this is a very difficult month to get in touch with people. And it's just because, you know how it is. Like people get a week off for the holidays usually. And then with New Year's coming up, it's just like the people you're going to be trying to reach at the suppliers might not even, be in the office. So if you are trying to if you're at the stage where you still need supplier approvals, my advice would be to spend your free time in the next few weeks making your website even better than it already is, because that you don't need anyone's help with. So focus on the website, focus on your research. So, building out your supplier list, focus on getting your social media pages set up, focus on optimizing your website for conversions. And then as we get into the first few days of the new year, suppliers are again back open for business. Basically, they'll be more receptive to, they'll be more available. It's not that they wouldn't want to work with you now. They're just busy or not in the office. If you already have suppliers, then I would say just, go get your traffic turned on, because people are still buying. They're just not as responsive on the supplier side for new approvals. Jens is saying, what's the best way to return? Okay, so yeah, Jens got started in the past, stopped, and wants to know what the best way to return is. I mean, hey, that's life, right? I don't know what the best way is besides just doing it. It's really cool that you're here right now. These calls are definitely a way to, kind of, I don't know, stay in the zone, I guess, and have the connection with other people, get to ask questions. So I would say keep showing up for these calls. If you want one-on-one coaching, we do offer that. If you want to, set a goal for yourself, like we're going to have a big announcement coming up, hopefully next week, in the next 2 weeks, definitely. But with our next retreat is going to be in Prague. So if you want to come to Prague and hang out there, set that as a target and use that as motivation for getting stuff done. But yeah, just stick around, right? Be part of the community. That always helps. Okay, cool. Christian says, by the way, I love the updated course. You did a great job. I tripled my sales after fixing a few things from the materials again, especially around the PLA course. Christian, I love hearing that, and thank you for sharing, and congrats on tripling those sales. That's awesome. I'm happy that the new course is helping out. Awesome. Okay, next question is, where'd it go? This is from Aaron, and it says, you've mentioned before about bronze, silver, and gold suppliers starting out. How do we attract silver suppliers? Won't I have to rely on bronze until I create a reputation for my company? No, Aaron, I would recommend you dive. I'd recommend you dive back into the blueprint. Let see if I even have the login on this computer. If I get kicked out. No, yeah, I'll just show you this quick. But yeah, Aaron, go here, log into your members area, and go back through module 4 and go through all these videos, because they'll show you basically how to start with silver suppliers. The bronze ones, I explain what they are just so you could stay away from them. But yeah, you don't need to start with them at all. Silver will approve you. Let's see. Selim says, one of my suppliers says that he doesn't fulfill shipping and he offers to pick it up from his warehouse. But once it leaves the warehouse, I'm responsible for whatever happens to it on the way. Okay, so let me make a note of this, because other people might experience this as well. So with these suppliers that we're going to be working with, some of them are going to ship on their account. So let me just write supplier shipping. So option 1, which you'll take whenever you can and what makes the most sense. Supplier ships on their account. And when they do this, they bill you for it, like it's included in your invoice, but obviously that's fine. This is what we always prefer, and the reason being because we don't have to worry about it. They just ship it. And also, if something did happen to it in transit, let's say, I don't know, it got damaged, then they're the one that's filling out an insurance claim and shipping a new one. So that's what you always want. What Salim is saying that his supplier told him, which is option 2, you ship on your account. Now, the way this works is you go ahead and place your order with your supplier, and then after you place your order, they'll say, okay, it's ready to pick up. And if they are doing large and heavy items, then you have to sell them. You have to send them what is called a BOL, and a BOL stands for bill of lading. And this is something that you would get from like a freight broker or a freight shipper, or you can even get them from UPS or FedEx. And you would send that to your supplier. Then your supplier would basically have the item ready for pickup. Then the shipping company would pick it up, bring it to your customer, and you would make your money. Now, this works. We have made a lot of money shipping with this type of supply. Working with types of suppliers where we have to ship this way. But if you have any possible option, this is not what you want to do. So like, again, this is like if what's happening with you right now, your supplier says this is what they do. I'm not going to say just totally ignore them or totally write them off, because again, we've made a lot of money in my business with these type of suppliers, but it's not ideal. So if there's any other option, that's good. If there's not, ask the following questions. First question you want to know is who they prefer to ship with. Another way of saying this is, who do your other retailers ship with? Next question you want to ask is, what is their damage rate? Because unfortunately, while again, we have done good with these type of suppliers, we haven't always done good, because sometimes when suppliers, have this model, again, not always, but sometimes when they have this model of, hey, ship on your own account, it's because maybe in the past they used to ship on their account, and maybe they did have a bunch of damages, and maybe they did have a bunch of returns, and maybe they were like, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore. So not saying that is what's happening, because it's not always the case, but you're definitely going to want to ask the company you're talking with, what is the damage rate? And just say, you're trying to figure out what type of insurance you would need for your order, whatever. You just want to know basically that. Also, this is like what we ask in niches that we're more familiar with. So this one, maybe you want to ask as well, but how do you package the items? Because Celine, you mentioned these are like large and heavy, and let's just say you were selling something like, I don't know, a $3,000 marble round dining room table, right? Something like that, like the way it would be shipped properly would be to not only be, having like foam all around it and in a box, but it should also have like plywood basically nailed around the thing. Then it should be strapped to pallets, and like all of that is possible and all of that happens. But again, like not a question you should ask if you're brand new to shipping these things, but if you have some experience, you can ask them that. And again, like the reason you're asking is because if you're shipping these things, you don't want to be filling out insurance claims all day either, because these things break all the time. So yeah, that's what I would ask. Don't write them off immediately, but do your research there. Also, you can look online, obviously, for reviews of the products from that company and see if you notice any trends of like high damages or anything like that. And then another thing that you'll have to do on your site is make sure that those products are not eligible for return, since you can't return them. Okay, next question is, one supplier does not have shipping quotes for individual pieces. They are new to drop shipping. Okay, so yeah, here's what you could do. This is back up here as like a continuation of this one. If your supplier cannot give you shipping quotes, ask them for just their most popular sellers. So I'll write this over here. If supplier has no quotes, ask them for package specifications. So that includes dimensions and weights. And they should have this as like, a Google sheet, as an Excel sheet, or, a CSV or something. Like they should have obviously how big their boxes are and what the weights are. And then you can go ahead and you can take that info, and then you can go to a website like, if these, I'm assuming they're large and heavy, but if they are, you can go to a website like freightcenter.com. And for here, I'll pull it up. Come back here. See, so this website, freightcenter.com, is like a freight broker, but you can click calculate freight weights. And if you have those dimensions from your supplier and you're trying to find those average prices, then you could type in here for the city or zip code, just type that in where the supplier is located. And then for the end location, again, you can use like wherever you think your customers are going to be. So you can use like a zip in New York, then you could test it with a zip in California, you could test it with a zip in Florida. And then here it has packaging. So whatever your suppliers give you, right? Like this is the information they'll be sending. Maybe the items are going to be boxed and you'll have the weights. So go ahead and put in the weight, put in the dimensions of the box. And then if you know the freight class, you could put that, or just whatever, leave it as I don't know, click at quotes, and you could figure out your the prices that way. Okay, someone asked how I got verified on Instagram. Yeah, the way we get verified on our social pages is just because we spend a lot of money with Facebook and Instagram, and I think honestly that's probably why. You get like an accounts rep and say, "Hey, can you verify this?" and they do it. So that is how. Let me see. Okay, there's a name didn't come in for this person, but it says, I wonder what you think about one-page checkouts. Do you know of any cheaper options than CartHook? Yeah, CartHook is like to integrate ClickFunnels with Shopify. Honestly, for the type of businesses that we're building here on the dropship lifestyle model, it's just not necessary. I do think that, as far as the cart experience that you give your customer on Shopify, you should put time into it. So you could do things like having, just basically every payment option available to your customers. Do things like if you're accepting Shopify payments, then you should accept Apple Pay, because you could do that through there. Same thing with Google Payments. And if you have it set up properly, basically if someone's on an iPhone and on your website, they could buy in like 30 seconds. So you don't need that though. You don't need cart hook. Um, no, if you're finding your suppliers on Amazon and eBay, you're looking in the wrong place. I would go back to module 2 of the blueprint. Okay, someone said some suppliers for furniture are import companies. Do you rule them out or it's not a problem to work with them? I'm not sure what you mean by import companies. If they are having their products manufactured overseas, that's fine. That's how most suppliers are. If that's not what you're asking, you can clarify. But if they're just having their products manufactured abroad, again, that's totally normal. If they're drop shipping from another country, then no, I wouldn't work with them on those products. I'd see if they had anything in stock in the States or whatever country you're doing business in. Lim says, I'm stuck on legal paperwork. I'm a non-US resident. How can I get a resale certificate? So Lim, I'm definitely not an expert there because I've never done it. What I'll say is I don't know if you need one if you're from another country. If you're forming an LLC in the States, I can give you our contact that could help you with that. And that might make it easier. But again, like that, I can refer you to someone, but because I've never done it myself, I'm not really like an expert on that topic. But if you want me to refer you to the LLC company I recommend, just send me an email after this call. Okay, let's see. Eunice says, hi, Anton. I found 2 suppliers. They're not providing me photos that would sell my products. I see other people use other people's photos. How do I do this in the right way? Um, so I'm not sure, like, do they just have bad photos? Like, are they sending you low quality photos? Obviously you can't just like use other people's, photos, but maybe you can go to, I don't know, their website or their Facebook page, or, I don't know if they've been to any events. Like you got to find a way to get them through that company, like get the rights to use them through the company you're working with, but they should have something, right? Like they should have some kind of photos. You might have to follow up again and see if they have anything they can get you, but yeah, they should have them. Okay, let's see. Eric says, what to do? What should I do if I'm not spending my daily budget or getting enough impressions? So yeah, Eric, if you're not spending your daily budget and spending your enough impressions, you got to raise your bids. I mean, that's basically it. Like if you have, let's just say you have, this is for supplies for every platform, but just say with Google Ads, if you had, $100 per day budget and Google is spending 50 per day, that's because other people are bidding more than you, right? That's because you have to raise your budget. So solution is to raise bids, not your budget, but raise your bids. Like you could have a budget of $1 million a day, but if you were bidding 0.01 cents for everything, then it's not going to spend that. You might spend $1 out of that million. So that's the way to do it. Don't go nuts and just go ahead and like double your bids or anything. Michael Erickson talks about this in our Google Ads for e-commerce course, which by the way, just so everyone knows where these are located now, the extra courses, when you come into your blueprint, you can just go ahead and go all the way down here to the bottom. And then you'll see here the bonus courses. And what is it? About 5 or 6 of them down. It says Google Ads for e-commerce. And you can click in there, and that will open the new Google Ads for e-commerce course. But yeah, you got to spend more. Okay, let's see. Garrett says, I'm a subscriber and a fan of your podcast, E-Commerce Lifestyle. Awesome. Appreciate that. He says, are there any other podcasts that you could recommend that center around dropshipping info, trends, or strategies? So Garrett, like I wish I could say yes, because I'm a huge fan of podcasts and just consuming content that way. I honestly haven't, I really, I'm not just saying this because like, I don't know. I really haven't found any. I'm actually on my phone right now because I'm looking in my podcast. I want to go to podcast to see if there's anything that sticks out. Yeah, really, no, not like for direct strategies and tactics. I hate to say it, but yeah, I do like I'm friends with and I like the guy Ezra Firestone. He's a big Shopify guy. He's been around for a long time. Also, we actually got started around the same time. He doesn't have a podcast, but he does like videos sometimes on his Facebook page, and they're pretty good, but nothing consistent. So sorry, yeah, I wish too, like not just to give you a tip, but I wish there were some better ones. Let's see. Janice says, if my only supplier at this point is for accessories, should I go ahead and start ads? No, Janice, not if they're under $200. Not worth it. Okay. We have the next question says, hello, Anton. This is Ken. Oh, I was cruising along, building my site, getting suppliers, applications, and submitted about 15 so far. I find adding products very slow. I can't read this. It's not the question. It's the way this is rendering on my computer. I was cruising along, building my site, getting supplier apps, and have submitted about 15 so far. I'm finding adding products is very slow. I've got the spreadsheet uploaded, but the content is not easy to follow. As for what is optional and what is required, is there a detailed document file upload to follow? Ken, so yeah, you're referring to uploading CSVs. I'm assuming. Let me see. Documentation. And I understand the question, but I want to see if they. Yeah, I'm just gonna send you this for now. Again, I'm not sure if you've used this already, but because like it is a kind of a complex thing, let me put this in chat. Then this is like a good step by step that keeps it up to date. But yeah, I say I've been doing this for 12 years, and CSVs are still one of the worst parts about doing anything with e-commerce, in my opinion. But it's got to be done. So yeah, I feel your pain. I'll give you that. Um, okay, the next question is from Maxim, and it says, hello, Anton. Do you have suggestions for the attorney or the company that I can get a consultation about taxes and also can help me create proper policies and protect my company? I'm having sales, but also experiencing some difficult customers. Maxim, so the attorney that I work with is not really like they're not a specialist in any of this stuff. They were like a family friend, just that I've been working with for years. My advice would be, unless you could find like a referral, you could just go on Google and like there's websites like, I think, what is it called? The legal help. I can't think of it right now, but yeah, I mean, I don't. That's the short answer is I don't. But recommendations are usually the way to go. I don't have anyone that is that's specific to that. Okay, Christian is asking about one-on-one coaching. Christian, if you go into the members area and you go to, and I know like we're redoing a lot of this right now, but if you come in, yeah, if you go into the members area, click on resources up top, then you can book coaching through here. If you already have private coaching, then it'll go straight to the booking page. If not, it'll show you how to get signed up. But again, just go to the courses.dropshiplifestyle, click on resources, and you can get into coaching. No, I would not recommend selling off Overlow. Okay, what is the best way to manage supplier order management if you have different suppliers and different ways of ordering? Yeah, Greg, great question. So here, let me pull this. We'll go back into our document here. Sending orders to suppliers. Okay, let me think of the best way to represent this. So one way you could place them, right? And again, this is based on what your supplier wants you to do, based on how they do business. Some of them will have you email purchase orders. Some of them will have you place orders through a members portal, right? So like these are typically the options. So let's do it like this. Come here, come here. And let's say you have supplier A, B, C, D, E, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The way that I would recommend that you do this is for the ones that are allowing you to email purchase orders, if the format is pretty uniform for all the ones that are pretty, again, straightforward, just use the Dropship Lifestyle app and you can use that. Oh, this is a wild pen. So same thing here, just like as long as it's following the same format, then that works fine. For the ones that want you to go through a members portal, you can have these either using the Dropship Lifestyle app, you could have them sent to yourself or to someone on your team that remembers how to do this, or you could just have them go to Trello. So it really depends like what you're more comfortable with, but here, I'll show you what that looks like. Come into the blueprint, and I'm not sure, like this was the most recently updated section, so I'm not sure if you've seen this yet, but we have a new module I added, new lesson I added in module 7, and it is called order tracking and reviews automation. So click into that. And this, let's see, it's going to play this in the background.
The little
yeah.
board.
So this
will get triggered.
Let me pause myself. What this automation will do that you'll learn about here, I'll put this in Slack, is it's going to send all of your new orders to Trello, and it's going to create them as different cards, and then you can go ahead and have either yourself or someone on your team go ahead and make sure they're getting processed. I'd recommend, if you haven't watched the new Module 7 yet, don't just start with 7.5. Go into your members area and then watch lessons 7.0 up to 7.5, because it'll make a lot more sense. But yeah, that's covered in that new section. Okay. Sulyaman says, what if I cannot find the niche only competitor store? Can I select the niche? What if I could not find the niche only competitor stores? I'm not sure what you mean. If you think if you cannot find the suppliers, it should. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're asking if you cannot find the suppliers. Then I would recommend going through Module 4 again. Watch some of the new videos, especially the new video 4.2. This is an updated video, but it shows you kind of some simple tricks you can use to find them. Okay, let's see. Philippe says, hello, Anton. How can we export product data directly into Google Sheets? Excuse me. Hope that wasn't too loud. I just ran across the room to sneeze. It says, okay, how can I export product data directly into Google Sheets? Is it possible? It's for making profit calculations. Yeah, so you can add the wholesale prices with the Dropship Lifestyle Shopify app, but that's product by product. But yeah, I can make an updated video on how to do that. If you want to just do it in Google Sheets, then you can export all of your products. You can export your CSV. So here, come back in here. And I'll send you this page, but this shows you how to export your products as a CSV. And what that means is you're going to have, let me just put this here, send to all. This is basically just going to give you like a big Excel sheet, and then you can drag that, like it'll download it to your computer, but then you can drag it into Google Sheets and it will open in that, and it'll look just like any other Google Sheet. And then on there, yeah, you can go ahead and add in, yeah, all those other columns. So things like cost of delivery, your 2.9% in merchant fees, all that you could do with that one document. How do you analyze best performing? Okay, so yeah, for everything regarding the Google Ads and analyzing your data, come here. No. Come here, go here. And can I link direct to this? Yeah, I think I can. No, it's not going to show the videos. Here, what you want to do, Christian, is go here and then go down to module 4. And module 4 is all about optimizing your campaigns. So you're seeing, going through actual campaign dashboards with data in it, and then, seeing like how we literally optimize them, and you could just follow along there. But I think you'll find that really helpful, especially the live optimization walkthrough. But I would watch all of these if you haven't seen them in a while. Okay. Richard says, my current niche has a lot of regulations that I did not know about. Should I stay with the niche and learn the regulations? Yeah, I don't know. That's up to you. I would say that sometimes that means there's a lot of opportunity because you could maybe be, willing to do the work that other people aren't, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that either. So if you feel really confident that it's a good niche and that it's worth investing your time, I would tell you that most people probably aren't willing to invest theirs into it. So yeah, again, it depends how big of a opportunity you think it is. Okay, good question. Greg says, how can I improve the cart experience on my Shopify store to help increase conversions? So come here. I'm going to send you a few different links right now. I'll send everybody a few different links right now. So the question again from Greg is about improving the cart experience to improve conversions. So first of all, check out this new lesson if you haven't seen this yet. Where'd the question go? Then it's going to give you this document. And I'm still here, everybody. I'm just getting some documents together. Now, this one is a little bit more work. But it's worth it if you're getting any type of traffic. All right, so that's a lot of links. That'll keep you busy for a while, but all very important things that will help. Okay. Yep, got it. Ken says, "Hi Anton, what's the cheapest way for me to get a trademark? What's the cheapest way to get a trademark without me completing the form, file the $200 filing fee, and all that?" So I'll tell you, I don't have many trademarks. I do have some, but some of them, like I got 5 years after being in business and like needing to do it for protection. So if you're just wanting to do it because you're starting like a new store or something, then not legal advice, but I wouldn't worry about it. That's definitely not anywhere near necessary to have. And again, we've only done it like when people tried to rip us off, or 5 years after having a business that was massively successful. So I would say no rush there. And by the time you need it, the $200, whatever it is going to be like nothing compared to it's going to be a very small amount of money to you at that point. So I just keep moving forward for now. Okay, let me scroll down a bit. This is a long question. And this says, okay, Anton, I have a very long question. Have you ever dealt with a chargeback request? Yes, I have. It says, I want to understand if the bank will be on my side or the customer side. Maybe you've had a similar situation. The customer purchased product A plus B. The supplier notified us that they have A in stock. However, they expected to receive B in the following days. Initially, we shipped A to the customer, which he received. We then notified the customer that B is to be shipped separately, and we are expecting to receive it this week, and it will be shipped to him as soon as possible. Unfortunately, he didn't reply, but we received a chargeback request in which the customer notified his bank that he didn't receive any of his products. The fact that's untrue because the customer received product A. Okay, we have sent let me see. We have sent the customer several emails and have made several attempts to contact him by phone and have been unable to reach him. We've left him 2 voicemail messages explaining the situation. I submitted shipping information to the bank, but the fact that the order is incomplete makes me nervous. Yeah, so Maxim, I totally understand why you're nervous, especially because the customer is being unresponsive. That's always like the worst in these situations because unfortunately that usually means that they, are trying to get away with something or from my experience, or trying to do something shady. The good news, like you said, is you delivered something and you have proof of that. Obviously, it's not the complete order yet, but what I would do is exactly what you did, which is submit all the documentation. And I can't, tell you what the bank or the credit card company is going to say, but I highly, highly doubt that you're going to lose the chargeback, being you have proof of shipping, and I'm assuming the tracking number shows an item delivered. It would be, I'd be shocked if you lost the chargeback. With that being said, you should again keep doing what you're doing and reach out to the customer in ways which can be documented. So the phone calls are great, but it's a lot easier to send a credit card company a proof of an email than it is to send them proof of a phone call. So what I would do is, maybe you've done this already, but I would email them and say, whatever it is, product B is ready to ship. Where should we ship it to? Or do you still want this? Or do you want a partial refund for product B, or whatever that may be? So keep moving forward as you should be. And but again, I don't think you would lose that because you have proof that this thing was delivered. And it depends how the chargeback came through. Like if the customer said it was like fraud, meaning someone stole their credit card, that's a different story, but it doesn't sound like that's what happened. It sounds like they're just trying to get away with something. And again, knock on wood, but my experience has been when people are trying to get away with something, it doesn't work out the majority of the time. Eunice says, I already have a Google Analytics account. Do I have to sign up for another one just for my online store? Eunice, you don't have to make another Google Analytics account. Inside Google Analytics, you can add different properties. So you can have like one login for your Gmail, for example. And then when you go to or one Google login, and then when you go to analytics, you can have basically as you add different websites, you'll have a drop down menu on the top left, and that'll show your different online stores or different websites or, whatever kind of websites you have analytics on. Greg says, awesome. Kenneth says, God bless you. Appreciate it. Okay, answered that. Okay, so this was just a clarification of a question from earlier, and it says, my question is, what if I could not find competitor stores? Okay, so what if I could not find my competitor stores that sell within a niche? Yeah, so let's just say, we'll take a generic example here. Let's say you wanted to sell stand-up paddleboards, we'll keep using it, and you can only find other websites that sell stand-up paddleboards in addition to other things. So let me draw this out. And thank you for clarifying the question. Get out of here, keyboard. So niche idea equals paddleboards. And let's say, Suleiman, you're doing your research and you find store 1, store 2, and store 3. All of these stores, let's say they sell paddleboards, but they also sell surfboards. They also sell golf clubs. Let's say they're sporting goods stores, right? They sell kayaks. They sell all this other stuff, right? So let's just say that's what you find. Does that mean that you then should build a store that sells all of these other things also? Or does that mean that you could still build a paddleboard store? Well, the way that you make that determination is not based on these stores that you find. It's based on the research that you do for paddleboards specifically. So the way that I would make the determination of if I should sell, whatever the niche idea is, in this case, paddleboards, is, are there at least 20 brands that are selling these things? Are there at least 100 products? Are they evergreen? What's the price point? Are they in demand? And remember, we're checking that with Google Keyword Planner. So these are the type of things that you're looking for. And again, even if you're finding stores that your niche idea is being sold on and they're selling all this other stuff, you don't have to sell all that other stuff. You can stay niched down as long as it meets these pieces of criteria. And again, let me just pull up the members area so you'll know where to check out after this video. Come back to the blueprint. Start lessons. Yeah, you're going to want to work inside of here, okay? Inside of, let's see. Here in module 2 of the blueprint, these are the tests that you're going to want to spend some time with, okay? So go back in here, and as long as your niche passes all of these tests, then don't only worry about the future competitors, okay? That means you're still good to go. So let me just post a link up in here so you got this for after the call. Go through those videos again, take your time with it, and you should be good to go. Okay, next question. Let me just check real quick here. Okay, just a heads up, guys. I see it's 9:07 now, 9:07 Central Time, where I am in Texas. I actually have a flight at, well, it's not at 11. I have to go to the airport at 11. I'm going out to Vietnam for a few weeks. So what I'm going to do is, like, if you ask a question within the next 3 minutes, then I promise I will answer it. If not, we'll save it for the next call. But I got to help my wife pack. Haven't packed anything yet, and we're heading out. But I'll keep going again. And if you ask a question within the next, before 9:10, before 10:10 a.m. Eastern time, I'll get it answered on this call. So let's keep moving forward, though. The next question is from Maxim, and it says, I received 2 big orders via PayPal because we're working with PayPal for 1 month, payments for $2,000 and $4,000. Yeah, so this is going to happen. So let me pull this up. Maxim says that PayPal blocked my account and asked for additional information. So the first thing I'll say is, unfortunately, that's just how PayPal works. Even if you've had a PayPal account for like 10 years for a different business and you've done like small amounts of volume for it, as soon as you start to get a whole bunch of sales and money really starts to pick up, PayPal will freeze your account while you submit all this documentation. So, yeah, now they're PayPal's asking to get documentation about the business and whatnot. It's saying PayPal didn't answer. So, excuse me. What I have noticed, because this actually just recent excuse me, let me have a sip of water real quick. This just recently happened with one of our PayPal accounts. And I mean, this isn't good news, I guess, for you, but it was good news for us, is that we did have it resolved, but only after multiple phone calls. And in the past, that used to just not work, but it did work for us. And the way it worked was just by calling again and again and again until it seemed like we got the right person on the phone. And we just explained, our side of the story, basically, the fact that we are an e-commerce company and that we can't have our funds held up like this. And basically the way that it got resolved, which isn't the best, I'll tell you that, like it wasn't the best, but we had our account opened again and access to our funds. And then they applied what's known as a rolling reserve of 10% to the account. So again, that's why it's not, it's not the best thing that could have happened. Best case scenario would have been they just unlocked the account, gave us all the money, and said, okay, be on your way. Instead, they unlocked the account, gave us all the money, and said, for new orders that come in, we're going to hold 10% for 90 days. So basically, that means if I got an order today for $1,000, they would hold $100 of it for 90 days and then release it. So that's, yeah, we got that by calling them. Emails and live chats were no help at all. So if you haven't been calling, I would just stick with that. And I'm sorry to hear that happen. Like, I really, I have a love-hate relationship with PayPal. We do it because people use it, but yeah, it's a headache. Okay. Yes. So Eric says in the PPC course, it talks about a 2-campaign system for alpha beta, but I noticed you talk about 3 campaigns and I'm a bit confused. So for most people, Eric, like the way that they start is having, 1 campaign and then doing the alpha beta campaign. Basically, these campaigns here that I'm showing you, how we have different campaigns in different tiers, they follow the same exact concepts from alpha beta. They're just breaking things up a little differently. So even sometimes within these, it's following the same strategy where like, alpha would be maybe the highest price, and then we would have like mid price, and we're basically just blocking different things based on priority. But I would say until you're really starting to scale up, then, start here, do your 1, and then break it up into alpha beta with just 2. And then from there, you continue to segment further and further. So maybe think of these over here, right, as like a more longer term thing. Start with 1, get the data, take out your negative keywords, make your alpha beta, and then continue to analyze your data every 2 weeks from there. Okay, Christian says, thanks again for your time. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Sheila says, on the first page of Buy My Niche Online search, Buy My Niche Online. Okay, I see what you're saying. It shows stores like Home Depot, Wayfair, and Lowe's, but I have to go to page 2 for my future competitors. Does that mean it's not a good choice? No, Sheila. So I know what you're saying. Here, check out this video, and I'll link it here. The new lesson 2.8, talking about how much competition is too much competition. What you're seeing in the organic results, really, like, it sounds like it matters, but it doesn't. That's not what we're concerned with. So totally valid question, but check out that lesson after this call. Okay, Susan says, thanks for the help, and the new courses you added are great. Awesome, I appreciate that. It helped me get past the analysis paralysis I had a couple weeks ago. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. Okay, cool. Hey, JP, what's up? JP says, thanks for sending the videos recently. You are welcome. Questions. We had a supplier notify us to tell us that they don't dropship. Their in-house sales rep lied to us to get us to create a new business account. Sales rep won't return my calls and has been fired as a result. Told them that if they wanted to test a drop shipping program to consider us, but no firm response. Any suggestions here? JP, that's a crazy story. I've never heard that before, but yeah, I guess he maybe had to open X amount of new accounts or something. That's really surprising. I don't know, I did spend some time checking out your website. It seemed like you work with multiple suppliers. I'm hoping that this supplier that just happened with was one of them that has low price products. So it doesn't really matter as much, but yeah, I don't know if there is an easy solution to that because, that's, if the guy got fired for it, I don't know if they're just going to change what it is that they do. Yeah, there's really not an easy solution. I mean, I think you did the right thing by saying that, you still want to work with them and trying to see if you can make something happen. But yeah, I've never heard of that happening before. Hopefully you could find other suppliers to replace them. And again, I do hope for the sake of the business anyway, those were the inexpensive products. Okay. Okay, Jimmy says, if you choose a specific niche and your website is called, for example, leatherwatches.com, is it smart to limit yourself to this niche if you want to expand in the future? Right. So yeah, I get what you're saying. So let's just say, it really depends. It depends on what you think you're going to want to do with the business. But if I was selling something like surfboards, I would have something to do with surfing or surfboards in the name, because the thought process is, even if like we branch out from surfboards, it would still be things that were very related. So, I think the example I give in the course is like Surf City or something like that. So, yeah, if you think you're ever going to sell things beyond leather watches, even if that is metal watches, then you don't want to call it leather watches. Maybe you want like Watch World, or something with watches in it, but not that specific. Okay, cool. Greg says, "Have a great trip, Anton. Happy holidays." Yeah, Greg, I appreciate it. This is we. I have a 1 year old baby. He just turned 1 year old on Sunday, and we've flown with him to New York and North Carolina, but never anywhere far. And now we're flying to New York, then to Dubai, then to Vietnam. So usually I enjoy my flights, but freaking out. Let's see. Eric says, "Thank you for the clarification. Much appreciated." You are welcome. And awesome. That was all the questions, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this up. This call is being recorded, so I am hoping that the recording worked. It should have. We typically don't have problems on this computer, and I will get this out to you guys later today. So Jimmy says, "Hoi An is amazing to stay with the baby. We stayed there 4 months last year." Jimmy, that's awesome. I've been to Hoi An a bunch of times. We actually have 3 days of our trip there this time. And yeah, I'm excited to take him out, hopefully see some of the lanterns and whatnot, and enjoy it over there. Okay, cool. JP, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Do some drinking during takeoff. Yeah. Yeah, the wine will be flowing. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Sheila. And thank you, everybody. I'm going to sign off, help my wife out. Have a good day, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks, guys.